I'm Dennis Anderson along with Julie Zenner, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
More pollutants in the Duluth Harbor will be cleaned up, with the public soon getting a chance to weigh in on how the contaminated sediments should be contained.
An historic Virginia theater is getting a street front makeover. It's one phase of a planned restoration of the Lyric Theater on Chestnut Street.
And we'll have the week's top business headlines and bring you a story from the news archives.
It's all coming up next on Almanac North. Hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thank you very much for watching. Julie, we had a beautiful 4th of July weekend there, a long weekend. Weather couldn't have been better.
It was beautiful. The fireworks were spectacular. Lots of great weather for people to get out and enjoy some good family time.
Yeah, that's for sure. And our busy summer continues. Let's go to our first topic.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Denny, and welcome everyone. The Duluth Harbor is active this time of year with both foreign and domestic ships passing through daily. Shipping activity is strictly monitored for possible pollutants, but that was not the case decades ago. Legacy pollution in 4 harbor slips will soon be cleaned up as part of an overall plan to restore the St. Louis River area of concern. Here to tell us more is Heidi Bauman, Contaminated Sediment Coordinator for the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. And welcome back, Heidi. Always good to have you here. The river and the harbor, it all seems pretty clean when you're just looking at it, but contaminants are lurking below the surface still to this day.
Yeah, there are a number of areas in the estuary and in the harbor that have legacy contaminants that are contained within their sediments at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So we've been, for the past 5-6 years, we have been assessing these sediments and trying to find out where the worst sites are and figure out plans to clean them up. And we're down to 10 sites that we're working on. 4 of them, we've just released the feasibility studies for those. There are 4 slips in our active harbor. And we're seeking public comment on the alternatives that we're looking at for containing those contaminants.
Heidi, you used an interesting term, legacy contaminants. What does that mean, and exactly where are these 4 sites?
The legacy contaminants are contaminants that came from past industries.
Years and years back.
Years and years back. So metalworks, brass works, the shipbuilding, coal gasification plants. We had junkyards around our harbor. We had everything. We had, everything from flour mills, sawmills, ironworks.
So are these 4 sites within the harbor itself?
Yes, the 4 sites that we're working on right now are within the harbor. There's Slip 3, which is right next to the new Pier B development. There's Slip C, which is where the former I call it Superwood, but Georgia Pacific plant is located. The other ones are the AGP Northland slip and the ASCON Duluth Seaway Port Authority slip. So all of them except Slip 3 are very active slips that have ship traffic and barge traffic and things going on. So we'll have a lot to work around when we get to actually doing the projects.
That must make it fairly complicated as you look at how to get the contaminants out of there. As you've looked at the options, are there some that seem to make more sense for these specific sites, either based on what contaminants are there or based on the traffic that's coming and going?
Well, we looked at a whole variety. We look at doing nothing and monitoring the situation to a total dredge and everything in between. So what we've kind of landed on that we have as preferred alternatives are capping in place, which means we're putting on a clean cap of material, which is generally sand with some armoring materials so that wave action and boat prop wash doesn't erode it and keep those contaminants in place. If we look at like dredging or partial dredge of that material, then we have to dewater it, we have to take it off-site, and that's many, many trucks of dredge material going to a landfill. So it's basically moving the pollutants to another place. So all 4 sites, we think we can cap it in place and allow the current use of the slip to continue and put that barrier between the contaminants and the benthic organisms that live on the bottom.
When you cap this, I'm assuming you're just doing the top, right? Is there any way that those contaminants can continue to leach into the soil underneath or get into other water sources?
It's more of an issue that they're in contact with the benthic organisms, the bugs and plants and things that live in that top 15 centimeters of the sediment. And so that's what we're trying to protect, because these are not, if they were like at a beach where the public could, come in contact, then we'd have to probably look at doing something else, at least dredging part of it out and then putting another cap on. But because these are deep slips and it's an industrial situation, that we can put a cap on and leave it in place.
Heidi, I'm sure a lot of our viewers are asking themselves, how much is this going to cost, and where does the money come from?
Well, we have just received a $25.4 million bonding package from the state legislature, and we will be using that to match federal dollars through the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, their Great Lakes Legacy Act dollars. So that money will be used for the design and construction of these projects.
It sounds like this wouldn't begin this year, but soon in the future, and maybe next year?
Well, our schedule right now is we have a public comment period right now that's open till August 4th, and we're seeking comments from folks on the alternatives, what they think. If they think it won't work for some reason, or they have a better idea, we'd love to hear it. In August, then, after we'll look at all the comments that we get, we'll make a decision on what alternative to move forward with. And then we're hoping to start into design, permitting, environmental review this fall. And we'll be working with the U.S. Corps of Engineers to do that piece of it. And then once we have a design that is approved and permitted, we will hopefully start construction in 2018. So
you talked about the federal match, and there has been some talk in Washington about zeroing out the budget for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative.
Yep.
Are you or at a point with these projects where you wouldn't be affected by any change in that, or is that a real concern as you look forward?
It's a real concern. Yeah, it definitely is. If the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative is zeroed out, then we would have to stop, I think. We have the funding to get through the design phase for all these, which I think we would take them all through that phase and be ready for when hopefully the program would be back in full funded. We're hoping that we have a continuing resolution and we can just continue working and getting these cleaned up.
Heidi, a number of people enjoy fishing on the St. Louis River and the harbor area. Are the fish safe to eat?
Well, the state does have fishing advisories for, I believe it's mercury and maybe PCBs. I'm not positive about that. A lot of that, like mercury is, a lot of it's atmospheric. So it's not necessarily coming out of the sediments and things. But I think cleaning up the sediments in the harbor is going to help that situation. But it may not get rid of all of the fishing advisories.
And the cleanup has really been going on for several decades.
Oh yeah. One of the first projects that happened was Duluth Interlake Tar. That was, I think it was around $11 million to clean up. But that was done with the responsible parties paying for the cleanup. These are sites that don't have a responsible party, so we are partnering with the federal government to clean these up.
Good point.
So the 4 slips that right now you're talking about, 3 of them currently are active slips.
Yep.
Would you be able to get the work done during the winter when the vessels aren't coming or going so that wouldn't be disturbed, or how would you schedule it?
It's going to take some coordination with the owners, obviously. So that's one of the things, like in Minnesota Slip, where we're in the design phase already. We are working with the owners of the marinas, the city of Duluth, with the Irvin. Permitting is going to be an issue because there's only certain times a year that you can work in the water because of fish spawning and things like that. So we get very narrow windows of opportunity to do the work, and so we'll have to work with the owners to see what's the best time for them. And you know, be ideal if we could do it in the winter, but it's pretty tough to do dredging and have barges moving around when there's ice. So
Could any kind of economic development be slowed if this isn't taken care of?
not in these projects.
Okay.
We've been working with the city of Duluth on the Lot D development and made sure that we're not going to interfere with their plans with our cleanup of slip 3. The rest of the slips, they have active industry working in them. So we'll just have to coordinate and hope we can get it done. And, most of these projects shouldn't take a long time to actually do the work. So hopefully we can get the work done in like a month's worth of time.
And has the commercial shipping industry and I guess the businesses on the industrial waterfront, have they been working to be part of the solution with you?
Yes, we've been meeting with all of our stakeholders, the property owners, the users of the slips, to make sure that we're not going to do something that might interfere with their ongoing business or their future business.
Heidi Bauman, thank you very much for sharing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate your story. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, let's dig into our news file archive for a look at what was making news 25 years ago this week.
Duluth's Fourth Fest always attracts families, rain or shine. But this year it was a toxic cloud more than a storm cloud that threatened to put the event on hold. The people here today, however, say they hope to put the chemical spill and the evacuations behind them. Especially in the Twin Ports, it's truly a day for enjoying independence.
I think we have to live dangerously with those black clouds. We'll just do whatever we seem to want to do the next.
A lot of things don't happen in Duluth that often for this many people to do, or for your kids to be involved with. There's a lot of older activities. This is just really nice.
This year, more children's games have been added, and there are also the more traditional examples of good, clean family fun. 1, 2, 3, go! Randy Raymond of Duluth picked up the $102 prize in the pie eating contest. He offers this piece of advice to next year's contestants.
They better not eat before it.
While the pie eating contest is over, there's still time to catch the tail end of Fourth Fest. The final band is set to take the stage after tonight's fireworks at 10:30. Lisa Blagan, KDLH News.
Well, back in 1998, the historic Lyric Opera House in downtown Virginia nearly fell victim to the wrecking ball. Well, the building was saved by the Laurentian Arts and Culture Center, the Alliance, which operates the facility as the Lyric Center for the Arts. Now, this summer, a fundraising campaign is underway to pay for a storefront renovation at the Lyric building. Joining us now is Mary McReynolds with the Lyric Center for the arts. Mary, thanks for being here. What's the mission of the Lyric House?
Well, our mission is to provide educational and cultural opportunities for children and adults across the Iron Range while renovating the historic Lyric Opera House. And there's a lot of things that go into that. We feel that the arts fosters civic engagement and it stimulates economic growth. And we also feel that every resident of our community deserves to be, to have access to the arts.
Now, the Lyric Opera House, many longtime Range residents might remember it as the State Theater, but its early history really was in vaudeville and opera. And we have a little excerpt from a documentary that was produced here at Channel 8 a couple of years ago that we'd like to kind of use to set up some of the history, and then maybe you can flesh out some of the details that that excerpt doesn't cover.
Sure. It was built in 1911 and opened in January of 1912 to rave reviews. It cost about $50,000 to build the facility.
The 500-seat facility was home to the Lyric Opera Company, and it also hosted traveling performers.
The Lyric Center, or the Lyric Opera House as it was known then, was on a vaudeville circuit that went from Milwaukee to Duluth to here in Virginia and then up to Winnipeg.
The exciting days of vaudeville were in decline by the late 20s as the cost of travel and the popularity of Hollywood movies pushed live performance from the limelight. In 1930, the Lyric was converted for motion pictures and renamed the State Theater. In the process, it lost some of its classic interior features.
The glamour part was taken away. The chandeliers and the boxes, the theater boxes, were covered up.
They were removed because Paramount Studios, after purchasing this facility and renaming it State Theater, put in a ventilation system, and they ran the ductwork up one box across in front of the proscenium and down the other one.
One feature saved during the renovation is a rare hand-painted asbestos curtain, the pride of the old Lyric Theater. A priceless relic from a bygone era.
This curtain was built in 1911. It was the original curtain for the house. Twin Cities Scenic Studios out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. One of the men that I have spoken with said that that company would rip out a curtain like this, that is actually paint the structure in about 3 days' time.
Our understanding is from what we've read that the local people wanted to see that piece of work because it was a piece of artwork, not just a utilitarian fire curtain.
A restored curtain would be the centerpiece of a vibrant new future for the building if the Laurentian Group is successful.
Lots of history there. Some famous names who performed came through town?
Yes, you know, Dennis was just mentioning the cowboy movies and Whip Wilson.
Whip Wilson was there. Saw him as a little tyke.
Yeah, and in the vaudeville days, people have told us they saw Fibber McGee and Molly and
I've heard Mae West and W.C. Fields and all sorts of people.
Yes, some of the earlier ones. Yeah, some of the horror movie stars too, and at one time there was a tour of the Frankenstein.
I think Boris Karloff, I believe, was there.
Boris Karloff was there as well.
Yeah. Now, when the theater is going to be completely renovated, and of course there's no date set for that, but will there be movies shown, or is this going to be live theater? What will happen here?
It'll be both. We're doing it acoustically for live performances, you know, so we don't have to use microphones, and it'll be small enough for that. But our mission kind of goes beyond just the theater too. It's a very large building. The theater's just part of it. There's a ballroom and a lounge that we'll be able to rent out for conferences.
Upstairs, if I recall.
Right, and wedding receptions, that sort of thing. And then there'll be a lot of space for artistic classes and workshops. And we also have an art gallery that's been running since 2006. So it is truly a multi-art media place and resource for our community.
And I understand that it, along with the area around it, is all on the National Register of Historic Places. So does that create any challenges for you as you're doing your renovations, so that you maintain the historical integrity of the facility?
Well, that is part of our mission. That's a very good question, to maintain the ambience of the history. The commercial district in downtown Virginia is part of, is on the National Register. And so we want to try to spark bringing some of that history back in terms of architecture too. So it hasn't really created a problem for us. For us as a nonprofit, it actually has been more of a benefit, because we can take advantage of grant funding from the Historic Preservation Office.
So the front of the building, I noticed, has now been encased in wood. What's going on? What's this project?
It's a storefront reconstruction, because there was so little bits of the original there. We're reconstructing it to look like it did in 1912. We have the original plans that were the basis for the architectural work that's been done to design the storefront. So we were down to 3 doorways, and that really limited the amount of space we could have inside the building renovated, because we didn't have enough ways to get people out again. So we're bringing it back to where the historic doorways are. We'll have 7 doorways then, and that will enable us to move forward and start developing the lobby area, and then a smaller performing venue on the main floor.
I was interested to read that it was actually designed right from the beginning as kind of a mixed-use facility. Not just a theater, but there were always other businesses that were kind of incorporated into it over the years. And that's going to continue as you go forward?
Well, in our planning process, we did a reuse study, and then a lot of meetings with people from the communities, and looking at the state of the city of Virginia. And we determined that we probably wouldn't have other businesses in there. There was a need for space that was dedicated to the arts. So the entire building will, in some means or format, be art space.
I remember a balcony in the building. Will that be retained, do you think, in the long run?
Yes, that's in the main theater. There will be about 500 seats between the balcony and the orchestra level.
You mentioned some grant funding. How much is all of this going to cost, and where are you finding the money to do this? Because it sounds like you've got lots of plans and lots of stuff underway.
There was a lot of grant writing that went into the storefront reconstruction. We've got about $175,000. Most of that from the State Historic Preservation Office through the Legacy Amendment funding, and some from the IRRB, some from the Business Energy Retrofit Program, because it'll be more energy efficient, and the Virginia Area Foundation, and then our local EDA as well.
Is the community itself pretty excited about this?
Yes, we've had a lot of people questioning what we're doing, and they're excited. They want to see it done. And you know, it's a great time in Virginia right now, because there's a lot of grassroots efforts going into downtown revitalization, and I think will be the spark that really will set that off. And
theater renovation projects seem to be pretty popular. Minneapolis has done several. Fargo, North Dakota, North Shore here in Duluth under project now. Why is that? Why is it so popular, do you think?
I think people are looking at that whole community atmosphere of witnessing a performance together, and how that brings people into relationship with each other. It's also, I think people are valuing the history of the buildings again, where, you know, for a while they just thought they could tear them down and build something equally as good, and it hasn't turned out that way. No.
And I understand you have a silent film festival going on as a fundraiser, with part of it coming up next week.
Yeah, we have about $20,000 left to raise for the storefront reconstruction, and someone's giving us a $10,000 match. And next Friday is our second silent film viewing. It's Grandma's Boy, and we're partnering with the Lake Superior Silent Film Society to do those. And bring
Well,
it-
I'm excited about this too. It brings
Yeah.
back my childhood.
Good. There's also a beer tasting,
Oh.
so that'll appeal to your
All
adulthood.
right. All right. Mary McReynolds, thank you so very much
Thank
for being
you
with
so
us
much.
tonight. Thank you.
Time now for the business news from our friends at Business North. Mesabi Metallics, formerly known as SR Steel Minnesota, announced this week it will reduce its workforce from 50 to 25 as it prepares to be acquired by Chippewa Capital Partners. Chippewa will use a third-party general contractor to complete construction of the Nashwauk project, resulting in a need for fewer employees. Chippewa also plans to have Mesabi share some functions with its separately owned operations at ERP Iron Ore in Grand Rapids. The company does not expect any additional reductions in workforce prior to its emergence from Chapter 11.
Grand Rapids-based ASV, which designs and builds compact construction machines, hopes to move some operations closer to home. A proposed distribution center project would potentially employ 13 people at an average wage of $19 an hour. The company currently contracts distribution to an out-of-state third party, a relationship forged when ASV was a subsidiary of Terex Corporation. Now an independent, publicly traded company, executives want to move distribution back to Grand Rapids. The company is seeking financial assistance from the City of Grand Rapids and the IRRB to bring that project to fruition.
Kwik Trip is adding 4 new Northwest Wisconsin locations to its fleet of stores in the region. 3 stores in Ashland will open in August, October, and December, with a 4th opening in November in Park Falls. The first to open will be in the center of Ashland next to Super One. East and West Side stores will open soon after. Planning for the Ashland stores began 3 years ago when Kwik Trip began adding stores in the Twin Ports area. For more on these and other stories, visit businessnorth.com.
So if you have a comment about our show, call now, dial 218-788-2849 to leave a message. And you can also send an email to almanacnorth@wdsc.org. And don't forget to check the WDSE website for program schedules on our 4 digital channels and for the latest news and events at your public TV station. Looks like another wonderful weekend weather-wise on tap, Julie. Big plans?
Yeah, now that all the family fun is over, I think it's time to work in the yard.
There you go. Get some
hoping-
work done now.
Hoping that we can get some work.
All right. For Julie and the crew at Almanac North, I'm Dennis Anderson. See you next week. Good night, everybody, and be kind.